Hi, hello.
There you go. Is that on? Video on? 7 o'clock on the dot. Great job, guys. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah. Okay, this meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting is provided in the annual notice of meetings published in the Union County Local Source and the Newark Star Ledger on January 12, 2023. Said notice was posted in the municipal building as required by law. In addition, a copy of this notice is made available to the public and is on file in the office of the Borough Clerk. All contracts awarded by Mayor and Council must comply with the affirmative action requirements of PL 1975 C127. Fire exits are located in the directions I'm indicating. If you are alert for fire, please move in a calm, orderly manner to the nearest smoke-free exit. Proper notice having been given, the Borough Clerk is directed to include this statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Here.
Councilman Johnson.
Present.
Councilman Signorello.
Here.
Councilman Rabina.
Here.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Here.
Councilman Patel. Mayor Signorello.
Here.
All present, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please lead us in the opening prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Eternal God, grant us thy help in all our duties and perplexities. We ask for thy guidance. Give us thy protection in our dangers and sorrows. Grant us thy peace. Amen.
Amen.
Here we go, this one.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. There are no proclamations or presentations this evening. There are no communications for consideration this evening. May I have a motion to approve meeting minutes pending corrections?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion that bills and payrolls be not read and passed for payment?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Look at that. You guys getting some nice rhythm there. May I have a motion to open the public portion on agenda items only?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Come on down.
Still think Colin
Anybody?
does it better.
Parking? Yeah, it's on the agenda. So, cleaning, talk to me. That's okay. We're
here.
tabling it tonight, but go ahead.
Jennifer Selinsky.
Yep.
Do I have to pull this up closer to me?
Yeah,
Sorry.
if you don't mind.
Jennifer Selinsky, 151 Warren Avenue. I just came to find out or ask questions as to why we are doing this and why it's going from 1 day to 2 days and more hours. Living here, I mean, Roselle Park is parking is a problem no matter what.
Especially by you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially by you. It used to be Meadow Street was like the parking lot. If you excess, you could park there. You can't even park there anymore. Every house has more than 2 cars. There's people driving. There's no place to park. And then to restrict parking more than one, I mean, I think 1 day is enough. 2 days, and then extending the time. I mean, people are at work. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Who's going to move my car from one side? You know, the cars that are left, or who's there from one side to the other? It's just, I don't understand the concept. I'd like to know why you're deciding to do this, and basically, what's the reason?
Yeah, so I would say, and I got to be honest with you, of the things we've done in 5 years as mayor, I've probably been a little bit hands-off with this one. And I know council's worked closely with Andrew on crafting this, right? Not throwing anybody in the bus. But if I'm to summarize kind of what I've heard from council as to why we're doing this is 2 things. One is, street sweeping is a little bit of a pain, right? So making sure that the streets are actually getting swept and cars are around. You know, look, we want to beautify the town. We want to make sure it's looking clean and pretty. I was about to start speaking German. Sauber, clean. So that's part of the reason. The other part is also in certain areas, we just have cars that have been there for months, you know, and partially that's a police department issue, enforcement issue. But obviously, having this gives us a little bit more flexibility, helps shake the trees a little bit. But I don't want to take up too much of the time. I don't know, Councilman Signorello, you've been kind of taking point of this. Am I capturing it correctly? Anything else you want to add?
So the only thing is, like the mayor said, we're going to table it and revisit this. There are a lot of residents are for this, are in favor, and there are a lot are against it. And the times and the why and how come. So basically, sweeping is not for aesthetics. We have a trouble with flooding in Roselle Park. And if we don't clean the streets, the gutters don't get clean and the basins fill up. And it's not like, look, there's some people in the room, I sweep in front of my street. It's not the same. People don't go out and sweep in front of the street or clean there's 4 catch basins on my street. I could think of, for instance, 1988, I go there and take the leaves out because the sweeper don't come to once a week. So there's a couple concerns. That's the biggest thing, is to get the streets clean. Look, I think we're going to work hard on this to make this right or correct it, change it. You know, a percentage of Roselle Park has street sweeping rules right now.
There's
Well,
nobody's
right.
enforcing
Yeah,
them.
a percentage.
Yeah, my street is one,
Right.
but it's 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And it's only 4 hours. It's 8 to
But
12.
you're not. It's not going to come down your street more than once. So maybe it's a little confusion how you read it. It's not going to change, whatever. It's not. You're not going to get it twice a week. So it's still going to kind of stay.
Oh, but I can't park on that side of the street for 2 times a week.
Yeah, but you're going to be allowed to. Some of the one-way streets, that's where the confusion is. So Meadow in the streets, you're going to be allowed to go on the other side. Look, so Filbert Street, I'll give you an example. Filbert Street between Westfield Ave and Grant, there's only really parking on one side of the street, 8 days a week. But for 2 hours, people can park on the other side. So it has to be fine-tuned.
So would you be fined if you park on the other side where you're supposed to? And then at 2 o'clock,
No.
if you don't move your car,
Well,
is you
look,
going to
I
get a
can't-
ticket for that?
You're going to be able to park on the other side, but you're not going to be able to stay for 24 hours. It's going to give you, if it says you can't park from 1 to 3 or 9 to 3 over here, you're going to be allowed to park on the other side from that time.
No, I get that. I
Yeah.
totally get that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if, say, I left for the day and left my car parked in the spot, but I come back at 3 o'clock, am I going to have a ticket on my car? That's what I'm asking.
So, look, let everybody come and speak tonight.
Yeah.
We want to hear the concerns. Look, I believe, Andrew, we're going to try to come out with a good product, put it in the funnel, and try to satisfy. Look, are we going to satisfy 100% of the residents? No.
Yeah, but I just got to.
We're gonna try.
Unfortunately, we have a 3-minute time limit on the public portion. But I want to end cap it by saying, so as it stands tonight, we're going to table it. I think there's and you guys feel free to obviously come up and speak your piece. There's been a lot of people that have come up and said, look, we get this in concept, but there's a lot of things that need to get fixed. And I think we're just going to take another critical look. People have brought up some really valid points, so I can't let you talk anymore because your 3 minutes is up, but I appreciate it, and nothing's getting voted on tonight. So if you have any additional commentary, I just want to say also for the record how much I'm enjoying Councilman Signorello defend his controversial measures versus Mayor Signorello having to do it. That's a lot of fun for me. All right, anybody else want to come up and yell at us about parking? I saw Bobby first. You're getting beat. Bobby, I owe you a call back. I'm sorry, buddy. You called me this weekend. It was a busy weekend. I'm very busy 72 hours after Thursday.
Robert Denez, 160 Jerome Street. I'm a resident of Roselle Park for 71 years. I've seen Roselle Park develop. It's a very, very old town. And it's not a town, it's divided into sections where we have businesses, we have places to eat, factories. It's all intermingled in the whole town. And as situations have come up, we've adjusted to it. In other words, I can remember the train station. I remember the Aldine train station, okay? When the train station was built, the new one over there, people had a terrible, terrible time with parking over there. So what did the town do? They adjusted it. They stopped parking somewhere, they put permit parking in. They didn't put a blanket thing over the whole town.
Yep.
And that's what I object to. As different businesses have come into town, okay, we've had to adjust the parking. A great example was that when we had a problem with that automobile repair place on West Clay Avenue, okay? We didn't throw everything out and put another blanket thing over it. We adjusted the parking in that area. And as more and more apartments come up, this is going to be a more pertinent thing. Colfax Manor is a good example, okay? Colfax Manor, when you only had one woman, one person working in the house, and the other person stayed home, you didn't have that many cars. I saw Colfax Manor explode with cars. Yep. What did they do? They put regulations on it about parking, and there's parking on both sides of that street to help the people in those condominiums there. You go to Hazel Street, which is the next street over, there's no parking at all. Now, what are those people going to do if they pass this through, they're going to have all them cars from Colfax Manor going on Hazel Street. Incidentally, these things are impossible to enforce. You have a police department does the best job they could, but they're going to go around all day enforcing parking ordinances, and people are going to be calling up. People moved to Hazel Street because the parking wasn't that difficult there.
Yep.
Okay? The value of their house. They want a house thing. Same thing with the train station and West Clay, everything. I live on Jerome Street, okay? I lived Jerome Street before there was apartments there.
Yep.
I went to a meeting there. I was young, but I used to go to the meetings. And one of the ways that project was sold to everybody on the block, who naturally had a lot of concerns about parking and everything, was that there was never to be parking on the west side, my side of the street. And it stayed like that for 60 years.
Yep.
No problems. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to start putting cars over there, okay? Blocking driveways, throwing things, snow plow. I can remember a lot of times when there's been a situation where they've had to put cars on my side of the street. Maybe they had to fix the sidewalks on the other side, or the utilities had to be done. It was a disaster. Because the problem on that street is there's so much double parking there, and the street isn't that wide to begin with. There's so much double parking on that street. You can go down there any day of the week and find, any time of the day, double parking. So now you got double parking and you got cars. I don't care if it's 1, 2 days on that side of the street. I've seen incidences where emergency vehicles couldn't go down the street. The police have had to drive around there because there's so many cars over there.
Yep.
Okay? It's been like that with no parking on that side. It's worked out fine. People bought their houses over there. I don't know how many people have stayed there as long as I have. Okay? And it's worked out fine. Okay? They move the car on the other side of the street 1 day a week. It comes in, cleans, it's fine. Okay? The problem down there is the double parking, which the police, I guess they just don't enforce it. They don't enforce double parking. Go to Meridia anytime.
Yep.
You see them cars double parked over there? I've had, just the other day, I had to go around. I almost got in an accident.
Yep.
Okay? You can say, well, we don't have enough police to enforce the double parking. These cars should be ticketed. Double parking's illegal.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, what are you going to have if you put this ordinance through? Are you going to go around ticketing people that had permit parking before? Are you going to have people that double park? People that go to the train station and leave their car at 8 o'clock in the morning and they don't make it back by 2 or 3. Are they going to get tickets?
Well, so there's two things, Bobby. So I agree with you on a number of points. I do think fundamentally, with respect to the situation going on in Jerome, there's definitely a need to have a little bit more diligence around our street sweeping, right? So if we need to make some changes around that holistically, then, maybe this isn't exactly the answer, but something to that effect. The other thing is, look, in certain areas, we've been turning a blind eye to parking issues. Yeah, probably. And I think at some point, it's like the broken glass theory, right? Like there's a crack in the glass, people are going to kick it in, right? At some point, people need to start abiding by those rules. We got 2 ticket enforcement agents for a reason,
And they're doing a fine job.
Yeah.
When they come over there on a Thursday, there's no parking, they ticket, it's fine. You can sweep all day long you want.
Sure.
Okay? I side, no problem. There's other streets. Hazel Street's another one. Council, the same thing. What's going to happen when cars get over there? Okay? Those people are going to be screaming.
Yeah.
Okay? And also, the value of their houses. We bought this house when there was no parking on that side of the street.
Yeah.
Okay? Again, I lived there before the apartments were there.
Yeah.
And it was promised to us, told, I was young, but I still used to go to the meetings. Don't worry, that's how that project was sold.
Yeah.
That there would never be any parking in that street. The street's not that wide to begin with. I
Yeah.
don't mean to sound harsh, but
Oh.
I know what happens when it's
I got to kick you out, Bobby.
all right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
though.
everybody.
Appreciate it. Come on down.
Actually, about the parking.
Are you guys going to name and address for the record? Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Benjamin Joe from 635 Woodland Avenue. We have been living here for 20 years, a little bit more than 20. Actually, I came here to voice opinion on behalf of my wife. She couldn't come. So I wouldn't take up all 3 minutes. So I think because we already say that subject has been tabled, right? At
Yeah.
least for now. So it's not really necessary for me to say anything about that anymore. I just say my wife opposed that.
Yeah.
She feels that not necessary. However, I do have a suggestion. If we know exactly when that sweeping vehicle come, if we can put it in the calendar of a recycling calendar, that would be helpful.
Totally agreed.
So many times I rush down and it's just over.
And I think
to drive across the street so it can clean. So that's something simple. We may not need to introduce another strict rule.
Totally agree. I think, Ben, and the one thing I want to say, I think part of it is, and I'm not talking out of both sides of my mouth, but part of it's conflicting interests, right? Because from our perspective, it's already very complicated we're a square mile town. We've got garbage schedules we need to manage, right? It shouldn't be all that hard to figure out when the street sweeper's coming, right?
Yeah.
So I think part of the thought behind this, which might have been ill-conceived but will get adjusted, is to simplify things, right? So every Tuesday or every Wednesday, whatever it is, it's coming. Those are the days, like recycling. But I would also like to say, if there's any other further feedback, then, like I said, we're going to have another 2 weeks before the meeting. That's going to introduce an ordinance, theoretically. So if there's anything in particular you don't like, Karen can send me an email or send Dad an email, whatever. Also, ich habe Angst vor Karen. I'm glad you're here, I don't want her yelling at me.
Good. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually,
I said, for everybody who doesn't speak German, that's I'm scared of his wife.
yeah, because I have one more minute, so I can.
Oh yeah, no, you can go. You got exactly.
I would suggest
Go
another
ahead.
suggestion is, you see, do we really need twice a week the perishable garbage collection? If we can, once would be probably enough. With a few years ago, we started.
That's real controversial right there.
A few years ago,
You lost the crowd, Ben.
a few years ago, we started composting. So our garbage cans not even reach half full by a whole week.
Honestly, we're gonna have a public meeting on our finances. You guys might have to pay for your own garbage soon enough. I'm just kidding, maybe.
Yeah, we can save some money, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Yeah. Just Woodland Avenue representing tonight.
Oh, yeah. How's
Hold on,
everybody?
John. I got to restart the timer for you. Hold
restart
on.
the timer.
I need you to be compliant here. And do you mind name and address for the record, please, sir?
Yes, my name is John Poulos. I'm 731 Woodland. All right, yeah, I got a few issues with this. I mean, first, some of them are I guess, feeling issues, because obviously, we've seen this town head towards more urbanization,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't like it. It used to be a nice small town.
Sure.
And some of us actually bought our homes where there was none of these signs all over the place.
Yep.
It was like a free, just relaxing, calm area, and we'd like to keep it that way.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the way it goes. And obviously, there are a lot of practical reasons why this is just ridiculous. I mean, when you got snow, what's going to happen? It's hard, get everybody on one side, then that's never going to get plowed because people are just going to leave their cars there. They're never moving them.
Yep.
You also have just, I just have this feeling that this would just be another, I guess, inconsistently and selectively enforced ordinance.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the parking people and the cops drive past cars parked illegally in front of Acker Park. I'm right down the street from there. Any nice day, that yellow line is filled with cars.
Yep.
And the cops drive by, don't do anything. The parking people drive by, don't do anything. So why create more ordinances that just aren't going to get enforced? So it's only going to be on those who actually follow them.
Yep.
The scofflaws are going to do what they want to do. So why create just more of a problem, more animosity towards all of you? Because this is going to inconvenience the whole town.
I don't want any animosity from you, John.
No,
You haven't yelled at me on Facebook in a while. It feels good.
No, I mean, I see that it's good to have this meeting, but I speak for a lot of people that they just don't see the need. I mean, there's streets that already have it, and that still doesn't always solve the problem.
Sure.
I mean, and as this gentleman said, I forget his name, about maybe if we know when they're actually going to come, because I know on my block when it snows, at least the one side for sure, most of the cars are off the street,
Sure.
so the plow can do their thing, and they generally do a great job.
Yep.
So if we know they're coming at whatever time, I mean, I'm not going to say every car is going to get it. So maybe, people
Sure.
forget they're out of town, whatever it might be.
I mean, it's also New York City, right? Like, we can deal with these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would make it a lot more palatable
Yep.
for everybody.
Yep.
to know, because I think a lot of people, they want, I mean, I personally don't see the street sweeping as a number one priority.
Yep.
The taxes bother me, the overdevelopment bothers me.
They bother me.
That
Overdevelopment's
stuff bothers me
relative.
far more than the street, because I see the street sweeper go by when, on the rare occasions it does, and all it does is spread dirty, muddy water on the street. It doesn't really clean anything.
Yeah, I think, and just I don't want to cut you off because I don't want to take up too much of your time. But the thing is I think part of this is like putting our best foot forward to try and change that, right? Because like the councilman said, it does lead into, we have aging stormwater systems, and we have these. Yeah, we have these storms now that all of a sudden we don't get just like normal rainstorms. We get a massive tidal wave in the middle of the summer, and when things are clogged up, it comes up the works. So
I get it.
I get it.
I get it, but
Yeah.
maybe these DPW people, instead of just driving around and the things, have them clear, like in the fall, in the
Yeah.
spring, go clear with the shovel. I mean, on my block, people do it. I do it. If I see there's a lot of leaves or debris, I'll go and.
Well, the councilman does it on one side. He should just go all the way down to
I
Woodland.
do it in my area. Like when it snows, I clear the drain of the
Yeah.
ice and stuff.
Yeah.
That's on my
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to do the whole street, obviously.
Sure.
But that's something, or make sure they're cleaning those drains. So, pumping them or whatever they do with the sewers. I don't know what you got to do, vacuum them out,
Sure.
whatever the procedure is. I'm not an expert.
They actually just did it on Westfield Ave, the state did it.
I'm
but
not
yeah.
an expert in that.
I
but
mean, neither am
whatever
I.
they do, that might be even more beneficial than the street sweeper raising dust and smearing dirty water.
Could be.
I mean, and then nobody's gets that total inconvenience.
Yeah, but net, we're totally here. That's part of the reason why we do these sessions, right? Like, and for the first time in 5 years as mayor, like, I really don't have a dog in this race, right? So, I hear you. I hear both sides, and we're going to take that into consideration. I can't promise you we're not going to do anything, but all these complaints are. All these concerns. Thank you. There we go. You guys are better politicians than I am. All these concerns will be put into the next iteration of this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, personally, I'd rather just let people know when it's going. I mean, obviously, there is restrictions on some streets. You can keep that. That's fine. It is what it is. People bought it. They knew it was there. That's on them.
Yep.
But in the rest of the town that has a more relaxed atmosphere without that. Just let people know when they're coming.
Yep.
And I'm sure if they know it's whatever time, that a lot of them will move their cars.
I hear you, brother. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
Mayor
John.
Council.
Yep. Anybody else? Oh boy. I don't even think I've gotten this much for development. You guys are easier on apartments than on street sweeping. Yes, Michael Ann.
Michael Ann Regan, 134 Sheridan Avenue.
Yeah.
I grew up on Sherman.
Yeah.
And there always were issues with parking on Sherman because of the schools, because teachers need places to park. And now with this street sweeping thing, it's just going to be a nightmare.
Yep.
I mean, it's already been a nightmare, and now it's just going to be worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up on Sherman, and I can see both sides because, as you know, growing up in town, Lake Sherman was a thing.
Lake Sherman's still a thing.
Lake Sherman's still a thing.
Still exists.
Still a thing. And my biggest concern is, I mean, I live on Sheridan, and we get a lot of the same traffic too, and they have some of the same issues, but I'm a little further down.
Yep.
But my parents live right in the thick of it on the 200 block. I mean, their neighbors don't have driveways.
Yep.
They're during that rush hour in the morning, like 8 whatever,
Yep.
people are rushing to get their kids to school. I mean, there's really nowhere to put your car.
Yep.
So that's really something to take into consideration.
Yep.
Just bringing that up.
No, totally got it.
Especially because there's teachers there, and I would really hope that if a teacher made a mistake and parked their car in the wrong spot, you guys would be lenient with that. I mean, that seems really.
No leniency in Roselle Park.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, there are a lot of things to take into consideration. So.
That we actually had Cindy. She's in the audience. I'm name dropping her, but it's public records anyway. She brought up this issue for not just Sherman, but a couple of things. So it's something that we need to take into consideration. So noted. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries. Joe, what this reminds me of? Because this wasn't our baby, though. Remember when I tried to privatize the bulk garbage? You remember how fun that one was?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that. Anybody else want to come up and talk about? Yes, Tina.
Tina Schwartz, 117 Avon Street.
Yes. Oh, wait, let me restart your timer. Andrew's not here to do this, so I
don't need 3 minutes.
gotta do this. Okay, go ahead.
I do live on a street where there's street cleaning on both sides, Mondays, Wednesdays. We have no issues with it. Like, if my neighbor's parked there, we'll ring his doorbell, he'll ring ours to remind each other. Ours is from 1 to 3, Mondays and Wednesdays. My issue is if you're going to change the time. Because 8 o'clock, like, I leave for work at 8:15, so if you change it to 8 o'clock, that means for 15 minutes I have to move my car to the other side of the street. And if there's no spot there, then I have to park around the corner for 15 minutes. So, like I said, I think we do need the street cleaning, but can you keep the time the same on Avon? Because
So,
it's really
Mayor-
not an issue.
Mayor.
Go ahead. Yeah, please. Yeah.
So you are one of the examples where it works.
Right.
I get it. I appreciate everybody bringing input. And I don't know if we need to print out all the emails and look at them. One of the small items I talked to Andrew before he went away is we would change it to 8 to 9. So I'm just painting a small picture. So the sweeper has to go like this down the street, and it takes an extra 10 minutes because he's got to go into the traffic. I'm going to make an assumption. Maybe we could start at 9. Again, no changes here tonight. Just a thought is he's going to be more proficient by going straight. And maybe it's 9 to 2. Change the times, the odd to even. Look, we're going to look at all this stuff and evaluate it. I just have thoughts in my head, like there's 28 houses in town with no driveway. So some of us have a one-car driveway, some have 5, all the above, right? And I understand what those people with the no driveways. I don't know if we give them a red flag, like it says, we got to go around that person. I don't have that answer. The intent in the beginning was, like everybody said, was to give out a map, and like Ben knows and John said that, look, if I know to come, and I do that at my house, whatever. I used to beat Kenny Longo and get out there before him, and I'd go around the block, whatever. We make it work, whatever. And a lot of things are going to come out of this. And I'm going to say shame on the people who leave their car out there, too. So that's just my personal opinion. The people don't care. And we got to get PD and do a little better. But just some people don't care.
Yeah.
So a couple things. And maybe Ben realizes there's a neighbor in my neighborhood that moved his car for the first time in 11 months the other day. So I'll leave it there. So whatever. There'll be some positive to come out of this.
John agrees.
No,
Dropping bombs here.
We're going to have some positive to come out. Are we going to change it 49% to leave it alone, put a map out? We're going to try to work it out. So please, anybody, bring the input. So we don't hear, we can't fix it.
Yeah, and I can tell you honestly, like there's some stuff where we're just like, nah, this is the right answer. We're going to do this. And this one, I think people have been pretty open and honest. And actually, I would say if I've got 9 emails about this, which is probably about how many I've gotten, 3 of them are like, look, we don't hate the idea, but the timing you need to think about. So there's a lot of that too. But this is a first draft that's going to be shelved for a second draft. So.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Want to talk about anything else? There's other stuff on the agenda. You guys want to talk about decommissioning 3 municipal vehicles? That's also controversial.
And I was going to speak on that too.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, Councilman. Hair looks great, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah,
got some ideas from you. I know a good barber.
Name and address.
Joe DiOrio, 824 Large Street.
Oh, wait, let me reset your timer. Sorry, Andrew's normally here to do this. All good. Come on, Donna.
I fall into that category of I don't hate the idea, but just the timing just doesn't work out too well. And today it actually gave me the motivation to come here tonight because we had a repast, a gathering after a funeral at 301 West Clay, my mother's business, and realized that the repasses normally start 12 or 1 on. So the earlier hours are okay, except for 8. 8 just is really wonky. But if you start at 12 or 1 with the restrictions, that limits our customers from being able to park on West Clay Avenue. So if you're going to consider that, just keep that in mind. And I guess take a look at all the other small businesses that have that kind of nuance that if you park there, you're going to hurt their busier hours. Yep. So earlier is fine. Later doesn't work too well.
Yep. Okay. Noted. Thank you, Councilman. Anybody else? Oh, come on, Marianne. Come on.
wie geht es Ihnen, Herr Bürgermeister? Auf Deutsch oder auf English?
English, bitte.
Sehr schön, eh? Marianne Brenner, 141 Charlotte Terrace. I don't really have a lot of skin in this game because I have a driveway and I have movement, of course. My question is a few things that maybe to be brought up because I didn't know it was going to be tabled, but to keep in mind possibly, are we going to have someone else that will be able to drive and work the sweeper? Because right now there's maybe one. So if he goes on vacation or if somebody, is he sick, are we going to train one or two more individuals so that we can keep consistent with whatever schedule goes out? And I do agree with some people about the timing. A lot of these other towns, the street sweeper goes for 4 hours. That's, I mean, I know in Elizabeth, it's like 8 to 12 or whatever. It isn't this 5 and 6 hours that, and again, I have a driveway, so that doesn't really concern me. What is more of a concern of mine in my neighborhood is that we have other items that are in the street, such as basketball, the basketball hoops. They actually take up more space and cause more of an issue with the debris in the street because the debris will go around a car. These basketball hoops cause a lake effect. Also, we have trailers. We have landscape trailers. We have garbage cans that are left. So he's actually going around those things too. So possibly we can work that out. That would be an issue. I think that the storm drains at the end of the street have to be done with the sewer vac because that adds to a lot of the issues that we have with the flooding, which not on Charlotte, but just want to give that.
Mary, I mean,
Yeah.
could you, look, if you sent an email with that, it would be great, because I want to print out, I'm going to ask everybody, and if we have 40 emails and a negative and positive, we got to lay them out and
Right.
show to Andrew, and we'll work it out.
I mean, I agree. You want your streets cleaned, but there's these other steps that are going. And if you just say motor vehicles, then that kind of opens it up to, well, why should I move my car if somebody can leave their trailer there? So you don't want that going to court either. That'll be an issue. So, thank you.
Yep. And I want to comment on, you can go back but if you want to, but we do have, so we had a spate of retirements. We had 3 individuals that were trained on the sweeper now. We've only got one who's really fluent with it. Unfortunately, one of the other equipment operators who's going to man that is out.
Back.
He's back? Okay, so that individual will be trained on it. So now that he's back. When did he come back? Tuesday. Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. Councilwoman. Honorary, you still get the title, I think.
Oh, thank you. Jody Bellomo, 208-10 Chestnut Street, Roselle Park. Okay, so I just have a couple questions, and I'm going to ask the questions before Councilman Sig takes up all the time. Right? So, okay, one thing I wanted to ask is, why are we changing? Like, why can't we just coincide with the times that are already there and enforce it? Because if you start enforcing it, then people will move so that they don't have to, go around in a zigzag. The problem with our town is we have no follow through ever in this town. So we have times that work to do the street sweeping, but they're not being ticketed, so if there's no consequences to your actions of being parked in there, you're going to continue doing it. Sure. So why not, instead of inconveniencing people that are at work or before they go to work, if they have to take their kids to school, like I know you said that you were going to change from 8 to 9 or whatever you were going to change, why not just do the opposite side? Like, why complicate something that should work and could work if we enforced or followed through like we should? Yep. I don't understand. Like, it's like you're recreating, something that doesn't need to be recreated.
Sure.
It just doesn't, to me, it just doesn't work.
Can I just comment on that real quick, Jody? I won't take up too much time. So the one thing I do kind of understand, I think some of the thought was, it's kind of a hodgepodge of rules we have in town, right, which makes it harder to enforce, right? Now, look, we have 2 people that do this full time, so they should be able to learn the rules and be able to figure out. But
Can you hold that for 1 second?
yeah, go for it. Yep.
Okay, because you're gonna be running.
I didn't want to lead. Go ahead, keep
Okay,
going.
so we have 2 people that enforce, right?
Yep.
But it's still the police's job to enforce also. It's not just the parking
yeah.
enforcement to and I'm not saying that our police aren't doing their job. Our police are very busy.
Yep.
You know, I have a lot of respect for our police department. You know, but it's still like just because we have parking enforcement doesn't mean they have to not move their rear ends off their patrol seat in order to do a ticket. You know, like if they're not doing something, they're not doing something at the schools, or they're not doing. Why is it that we're allowing people to everything to be convenient for people? You know, it doesn't work like that. You know, like it's not a matter of convenience. It's a matter of, you know, enforcing an ordinance that's already there. If it's never been enforced, then of course I'm going to leave my car there.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't really affect me because they do Chestnut Street every single day.
Sure.
But it does affect the people that I care about in this community.
Yep.
You know, so if we're not doing our job, or it's not my job, your job, if you guys aren't doing your job with keeping on the people that need to enforce, then changing the times isn't going to make a difference. You're just going to have other cars to go around.
I agree with you halfway. I would say, in general, we also have to have look, you know, an army's only as good as the instructions that they have to follow, right? So, you know, I could tell all these guys right now some super complicated thing that they've got to do. They'll try their best to
I
execute it.
didn't mean I just
No, I
meant,
know,
you
but
I meant-
ultimately,
I meant the town.
yeah, agreed.
Town.
But I'm just saying, I think part of the thought is it makes it easier for our guys, our police officers, or our ticket enforcement people, just to say like, hey, these are the hours town-wide. It's a square mile town. I can
Right.
remember that versus. Oh, you know, Avon has its own rules and McGee has its own rules and whatever else, you know. So I think that's part of the thought behind it, but I understand your point. Yeah.
It just, to me, it just seems like it's a whole lot of work for something that could work if it was enforced properly.
Yep.
You know, and just do the opposite on the other side.
Yep.
You know, so
Yep. Yep.
that's
Okay.
it. As
All good.
Arnold Schwarzenegger said, I'll be back.
I'm sure you will. Well, this is going to be a short meeting tonight. Looks like Donna's a bad luck charm. We love you, Donna. How's Ashwood feeling about this? All right? Okay, good. No. All right, good. The rest of Ashwood, not so much.
Janine Goodis, 152 Berwyn Street.
Yes.
You know it's a small town when you know everybody's name before they even say it.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
As somebody who lives on a street with regular street sweeping, I emailed you all. My issue isn't so much the street sweeping, although I do think we do it too much.
Yep.
It works on our block, but we're a one side of the street parking block. So I've lived there for 25 years. 8 a.m., Bobby would drive down the side of the street where nobody was parked. He would blow down the street. That side was clean. He would go do his other blocks, and then our parking is 1 to 3. At 1:05, he was coming down my side of the street. That was always the problem. There wasn't the tickets weren't done yet. The police didn't come down yet to force people to move their cars before he came down to clean the street. Now I understand it's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock is 1 o'clock, but they should come down the block 10 minutes after the cops come down, blowing their horn, telling them to move. The days when he was running late, that's when it worked out. Everybody would move, they would clean the street, and it was good. I just feel like there has to be a better way to work together so that the cars are moved and the street is swept. Also, 8 a.m., I think that's an accident waiting to happen with kids walking to school and parents running, trying to get kids in and out. I just think you're opening yourself up. That's an accident waiting to happen, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanine. Anybody else? I am seeing no one. Okay. May I have a motion to close the public portion on agenda items only?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to accept the reports of departments as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please read ordinance number 2713 by title.
An ordinance amending Chapter 7, Section 13 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park entitled Parking Prohibited for Street Cleaning.
May I have a motion to open the public hearing on... Oh, is the second reading on this already?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize. May I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance number 2713?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Y'all want to come up again on this? All right, Joe. Come on, you still had time on the first round.
A question came to mind. Joe Diorio, 824 Large Street. Question came to mind when Janine came up here. And I don't know what the answer to this question is, and I don't think you have it, but how do you deal with the permit parking situation in the areas of like the 5th Ward and the 3rd Ward, where the ordinance, the way it's written, would basically say, okay, no permit parking, no parking for anybody. So how do you then deal with the folks there? It doesn't affect me on my street because we have a pretty good street with a lot of driveways, but on a street that has permit parking because of the train station, like maybe the smaller streets like Filbert, Dalton, where do they go? Because now they don't have any parking. So just a thought.
Yep, noted. Thank you. Anybody else want to come up and speak on this? Yeah.
Just for purposes, I know, I realize everyone spoke during the open agenda items and you all specifically spoke on this topic. So I'm just going to ask the clerk if she would please, when preparing the minutes, you could put all their comments under the agenda items, but I would just ask for clarity that you just list everyone's name and address who spoke on this on 2713 during the general open agenda portion. Just list their name and address. You're going to have their comments in the minutes, but I would just like it reflected as to who spoke.
Specific to this.
Yeah, to this specific I just want it reflected that all those people that spoke were, I consider that part of their comments to the second reading of this ordinance, and I just want them delineated that way also. Thank you.
Well, thank you on that, because I'd like to take these minutes, any inbound emails, and then sit with Andrew and Paul, and we need to figure out, table it, and hear, and see what we got to do.
Councilman at large.
No, just can we not, I want to finish public discussion and we can talk about it. Yeah. Anybody else want to come and speak on this? Lovely. I'm seeing no one. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance number 2713?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 2713?
I can make a motion to
Just, you got
Second.
a motion to adopt
Yes.
first.
So move.
Do I have a motion to do a second?
Second.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Councilman Rabine, do you have something to say?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Yes, so we are looking at tabling it, but what's the thought process now for community input? Are we proposing now having a town hall meeting of some sort?
No, this is
Select
community
board.
input, is the way it works.
This is just it?
Yep.
Okay. So the emails we'll send to you, we'll submit
Yes.
anything that we've heard from our constituents.
Yep.
And that'll be it.
Yep.
Already forward them.
Any further discussion?
That's great, great.
Yeah, I have a couple. So I got some questions and some ideas that I would like to propose to you. I'll send you an email. But some of the questions are, like, how much will the street cleaning signs will cost in total? Doesn't work. Can I use
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. So how much will all the street sign costs will be in total? Is there a way to buy another sweeper? Which one's cheaper? Obviously, everyone talked about the hours. And, I mean, if we buy another sweeper, if one breaks down, we also have the other one working. Yeah, so this is the hours. Yeah, also like to the fact that the 3 elementary school, there's no parking, staff parking, so we'll have to take that and look. Some of the other street, for example, Jerome, I know there's no parking on the Jerome Street. I live in Jerome Street, so like to look into Jerome, Warren, Butler. So all those streets don't have parking on the other side, so please look into that. And fifth, can we conduct a survey to gather information about the current state of the street cleanliness and its identity area that needs improvement, This will give us a data and clear idea and input, like which one needs to be clean and stuff like that. But not the last, not the least, yeah, definitely someone pointed out about the businesses. We need to make sure about the businesses that needs to be, we need to talk to them before we enforce this, because some of the, for example, 240, the MVB barbershop, who is located right across Meridia, he's a corner property and doesn't really have parking, so we'd like to, talk to him and also survey businesses to ask what works for them before we make any decisions. And like someone said about like a reminder, can we use the first alert system that usually we use to send out emergency emails? Can we use that to remind people a day before, hey, move your car? And if this ordinance is proposed, can we have a time where we, instead of giving out ticket, can we give out warnings? So people they learn, they get used to this idea of moving cars. So those are some questions and ideas I would like to bring up.
Oh, I just have, just an FYI, Westfield Ave, so you said 240 Westfield Ave? One of your questions?
No, so 240 Westfield Ave, the apartments, I'm talking about there's a barber shop that is across MVB barber shop. So he is a corner property. But if we're doing flipping sides, since he's corner, he's also near a stop sign. So can we make sure with him and talk to him what works for him? Because if we're doing flip sides, and most of his business is morning hours. All his clients are in morning time. So let's talk to him and then see.
FYI, right now, there is a process for his street, so I don't think it's going to change. Westfield Ave is going to stay the same. It's had that process. It's 11 on Wednesdays, and I wish so nothing's going to change with him. It's been that way, I don't want to say forever, so. But write the emails down, and we'll work it out.
Okay, thank you.
Give it to me however you want to, email, piece of paper, whatever, so.
All right,
thank
sounds
you.
good.
I would just say a couple notes on that. So thank you, Councilman. And I would just direct, Andrew's been kind of taking point on the adjustments for this. So I would just direct any feedback to him. The two things that I think are kind of a non-starter, though, at least at this point, is we're figuring out where and what the new DPW site's going to look like. I don't think we really have the space to entertain buying a new sweeper at this moment. Quite frankly, I think capital's going to be tight too, and I'm reticent to buy new equipment for the DPW until we have a home to protect it and store it. So that's one thing that just doesn't really seem like the right answer at the moment, although I appreciate the suggestion. The other thing is, with regards to a survey, I think it's interesting. The logistics of it kind of scare me. How we're going to do this, how we're going to make sure that everybody actually, follows through and actually fills it out is a good open question. But I would just, if you don't mind summarizing this and just sending it over to Andrew, I think that's the most efficient way to tackle this.
Will do.
Thank you. Okay, any further discussion? Can I suggest that we table this? Would a councilman like to?
No, we have a motion and a second on the table, correct?
Yes.
Clerk?
No, you didn't do anything.
He motioned and I seconded.
He seconded.
You did a motion to adopt. That's
Yes.
what you did.
There's a motion and a second on the table now. No, I'm not talking tabling.
On
There's
the
a
adopt.
motion and a second
On the adopt.
to adopt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now you have.
Council.
Okay.
So
So just vote it
you
down.
must vote on that, and if it is your intention to follow this with a motion to table, your no vote is what you should be doing on this, on the motion to adopt. You should be voting no, so that you can make your subsequent motion if I'm understanding what everyone's been saying tonight about your intentions on this ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, call the roll, Donna.
Okay, Councilman Petrowski,
No.
Councilman Johnson,
No.
Councilman Signorello,
No.
Councilman Robina,
No.
Councilwoman Lyons,
No.
Councilman Patel.
No.
Mr. Mayor, didn't pass.
That's a first for me. Doesn't feel great.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Well, my idea anyway, so. Madam Clerk, please read ordinance number 2714 by title.
Okay, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Section 41, Subsection 1 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park entitled Roselle Park Diversity and Inclusion created.
May I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance number 2714?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Would anybody like to come up and speak on ordinance number 2714? I promise this will not affect your parking. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance number 2714?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 2714?
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Mayor, this is just to clean up the ordinance, that's all.
Cool.
Yeah.
Your hair looks great today.
Thank you. I feel great today.
Donna, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilman Rabina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Affirmative, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All matters listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the governing body so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda as part of the general orders. Madam Clerk, please read all resolutions listed on the consent agenda by title.
69-23, accepting the resignation of Wayne Caffrey from the position of part-time bus driver. 70-23, accepting the resignation of Michael Manarino from the Roselle Park Fire Department. 71-23, encouraging Citizens Bank to expand eligibility criteria for the Small Business Community Champion Award Program and expressing support for the same. 72-23, accepting the resignation of Nicholas Filipina from the Roselle Park Fire Department. 73-23 is accepting the resignation of Jonathan Meha from the Roselle Park Fire Department. 74-23, removing Joseph Stulek from the Roselle Park Fire Department. 75-23 is appointing Sandra Lynch as a member of the Roselle Park Fire Department. 76-23, appointing John James Ranieri as a member of the Roselle Park Fire Patrol. 77-23 is authorizing the decommissioning of 3 municipal vehicles to be used during extraction training by the Roselle Park Fire Department. And 78-23 is authorizing a program agreement between the Borough of Roselle Park and Sherry, butcher her name, I'm sorry, Stahue, in connection with the Roselle Park Housing Rehabilitation Program, case number RP 51, for the improvement of the property located at 462 Colonia Road, known as Block 1113, Lot 6 of the Roselle Park tax map.
That was it? Cool. Do any members wish to have any items removed from the consent agenda? Okay. May I have a motion to approve the resolutions remaining on the consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Reports of Borough Council committees. We will start off with Councilman Signorello.
Oh, boy. So just not to recap, but appreciate everybody's concerns with the sweeping process. You know, over the last year or two, a lot of folks were asking, a good majority wanted to see a change, wanted to see a map. You know, the thought process was to try, but look, we'll evaluate it and we'll look at it. Please send those emails, and like the mayor says, Andrew, myself, and Paul Biamonte will work something out, and we'll try to make everybody happy, if it's possible. Other than that, I just wanted to report a little bit. You know, the fire chief will come next month, but we had a small fire in Woodside Gardens yesterday. I'd like to thank one of the residents, and we'll maybe bring him up another time, but he acted swiftly on going from apartment to apartment with the extinguisher in the apartment, and he did save a lot of damage that was probably going to happen. So thank you to a resident acting swiftly. Thanks to the fire department. No, knock wood, we haven't any snow, so in the weather, I know Ken just jinxed him. I wanted to let you know, a couple people noticed some extra street lights we put in around 240, 250. I say this every month, if you have a street light on your area, give me a call, give me an email, or email. Donna does a great job on getting these street light outages in, and There's probably pros and cons. They're putting some new brighter lights and I know more.
I'm laughing at Donna.
Oh, okay.
That's a great job.
But some of the lights, people like it, and I've heard some inbounds are a little too bright. So they're LED. They're so much more efficient, and everybody knows about LED. So other than that, you guys know how to get a hold of me. Continue with your inbounds, and I'm hearing what you need to say, and I hope your voice is being heard. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Johnson.
Oh, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and residents. A few meetings I attended and supported the past few weeks. Groundbreaking ceremony, Hunter property, ribbon cutting for House 157. I hope them great success. Diversity and Inclusion Committee meeting, still working out logistics for Juneteenth and Pride Month. Just a few notable mentions I would like to make at this time. A special thanks goes out to DPW Superintendent Paul Biamonte and Council Member at Large Joseph Signorello for helping me to address the Avon pothole concerns. Thank you very much there. Special thanks goes out to Deputy Director Rich Beluccio and Andrew Casillas for helping me draft or we're working on drafting an ordinance regarding the double utility poles that are not only unsightly but pose safety concerns within the borough.
Hey, Councilman, can I bother you for a second? I realized you were talking to Rich about that. Somebody actually suggested too, if you're working on that, we have sort of like a general cleanliness issue with our poles too, right? Like, so, and people always forget. I just learned this. I'm sorry, I'm hijacking some of your time, but I'll give it back to you.
No, I don't need.
The topmost pole, former lineman, that's the electric wire, right?
Electric, yeah.
Right. After that, it is
Verizon
and whatever
Or
else,
whatever,
the
yeah,
utilities. Yeah.
I had to learn the hard way.
They are not always like super clean. So the only thing is, I actually had mentioned this to Andrew, and it got lost in the shuffle. He actually just told me, we've got too much stuff going on, Mayor, don't bother me. But Ken knows that response. If you're looking at that, can you maybe try and just merge the two in? Because we do have some messiness going on with those lines underneath. I'd rather kill two birds with one stone.
No, that's what.
Sorry to hijack you.
No, that's what we're trying to do, Mayor. You know, there's nothing wrong with holding utility companies accountable while setting forth guidelines for them to follow. Lastly, I received an email, a couple of emails recently pertaining to a rodent/rat infestation. I'm going to probably ask Andrew in a newsletter to send out tips to residents how we all can help to mitigate those concerns. However, I received a letter from Westfield Health Department, and I'm just going to mention a couple of things that I figure stood out for me. Animal feces must be cleaned up on a regular. Clean up your yard, driveways, cut the grass. I mean, you know, just regular basic things that most of us are already doing. Place garbage in metal and plastic containers, et cetera, but they did come out and they're gonna cite people who are not doing that. So I don't wanna see residents get, you know, cited, so please be neighborly and considerate and clean up your property. Please remember, your voice matters. At First Ward Council, I will always place the concerns of the residents in the borough of Roselle Park first because local concerns matters. If you need to get in contact with me, please give me a call at 908-303-1519 or email me at gjohnson@rosellepark.net. I love to work and put me to work. Let's go.
Yo. Councilman Petrosky. Good job, Councilman. We haven't had one of these meetings in a while. This feels like a throwback. This feels like a year one Mayor Signorello meeting. Joe's been there through all the battle scars. What do you got, Councilman?
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to send my condolences out to Joyce Beecham's family. She was a Roselle Park High School graduate. I believe it was 1973 she graduated. Am I right? Your classmate? Right. Okay. Okay, thank you. On February 3rd, I attended the Hunter groundbreaking, talking to the owner, Joe Hunter. His family was involved there for many years. He grew up, his father owned it since he was a little kid. So he said there was a lot of, memories there and everything. So on the 4th, I attended the ribbon cutting at House 157. Good luck to them also. I know you mentioned it too, but Okay. On the 6th of March, I attended the Meridian. They had Donata Floors there for Valentine's flowers. From what I talked to the owner, he said it was very well attended. But I know I got there a little late, and they were almost out of flowers. So it looks like people are showing up at these meetings. On the 6th, I also attended the fire department meeting. Quick meeting, right, John? Okay, so again, mainly they usually report to me about with the DPW with repairs. So, but it was a quick meeting. On the 8th, I attended the recreation meeting. The Easter candy will be at the library April 1st from 11 to 1. They will be sending out flyers shortly. Okay. Today I attended the joint sewer. Basically, it was mostly about purchasing equipment for the upcoming year, and they appointed committee on the I'm on 2 committees there. So once the wrestling season is over, I'd like to bring Mason Harms in. He got his 100th victory a couple weeks ago, and I will talk to Coach Rooney if he wants to bring the record in that night, but after wrestling's done. Good luck to the high school wrestlers. They're wrestling, they got the districts this week. So if you need to contact me, you can get me at jpatrosky@rosellepark.net, 908-666-7821. That's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. It's a good job too, Joe. I don't want you to feel left out. Councilwoman.
Hello. Hi, everybody. How's everybody?
You've been quiet.
I've been quiet. I've been observing, but it's great to see everyone. It's great to hear everyone and really to see the community come out. That's what it's all about. I'm going to quote Proverbs, "Eyes that focus on what is beautiful bring joy to the heart, and hearing a good report refreshes and strengthens the inner being." So I'm going to give a quick report. There's so many things that are happening in Roselle Park. I'll also start with a joke too, because I started last time and it was good. So a father said to his son, "Can I borrow a newspaper?" And the son looked at him and said, "Dad, it's 2023. Why would I have a newspaper?" He said, "But you could borrow my iPad, and I could tell you this. The spider never knew what hit him." So change, right? I mean, I know everybody loves change, especially in Roselle Park. But the whole point is, you know what? Some things have to happen. And with everyone that, spoke tonight, I just love being part of a team that we are going to hear what you all have to say and do our best to do what we have to do and keep Roselle Park clean and everyone happy.
It's a really expensive way to kill a spider, by the way, because that iPad's not surviving.
True, that's right. I hate spiders. So. But yes, I went to the groundbreaking ceremony on February 3rd, and that was it was special. And you know what? I spoke to the hunters as well, and to be part of that, and definitely. Going to see how awesome that's going to be for Roselle Park. I also want to highlight a business, Lidio's, if you guys haven't been there. That is the new coffee shop on Westfield Avenue. I spoke to Gisela, and she said it's a family-owned. You can also get flowers there, so definitely stop by. So a part of my little, or part of my personality, I love to promote business. If a Roselle Park business would love to be highlighted on the Roselle Park Forum or on social media, just call me up, let me know, and I'll be able to just come by, do a little video for you, and just to even connect with you. House 157, congratulations. The ribbon cutting ceremony was awesome. Faith and her husband and family, I wish you the best. That business is super special. So she actually was previously an oncology researcher and also has a luxury wedding designer company. So for her to be in Roselle Park is just really an honor. She also has a nonprofit organization called A Mother's Road to Zion, dedicated to women and mothers who have a story to tell and need support. And that to me as a single mom is really important because she has something that she'd be able to really help. And I connected with Faith, and we're hoping to really start some great things even there at the restaurant. Okay, so I also went to the pre-construction meeting for the sidewalk improvements on February 8th, and that is exciting because sidewalks and cement is in my family. My father was part of the Bianco brothers in Roselle Park, and I'm sure they will be proud. So I'm excited to see what's going to be
they would
happening.
like my color choices?
Yes, 100%.
Thank you.
I was cheering you on. I also, so yesterday, happy Valentine's Day, also a couple days late. So yesterday, Sherman School had a Valentine's Day brunch and party for the seniors of Roselle Park. And it was amazing. The PTA, Sherman School, and Principal Tara Lechner.
All good.
Sorry, there's no EO at the end. I don't know how to say it. They really did an amazing job. When I first thought about 2023, I came up with 3 words of connecting, communication, and community, and that's what I saw. It was children. When I walked in, I have to say, they were doing jokes. So to me, I was like very proud. And then afterwards, they had conversations, and you saw the 5th graders sitting down, introducing themselves, and they were communicating and telling stories. So I thought that was awesome. We also had Emil. Do you know, guys? I forgot his last
Emil
name.
Trigala.
Emil?
Emil
Emil.
Trigala.
Okay, yes.
Fifth Wood
So he was telling stories how he used to pay 25 cents for lunch, and now they pay $4. And the young woman, Larissa, was like astonished at that. So that was happening yesterday. I also went to the library board last night. I just want to congratulate Kit Rubino.
That's my last name, Rubino. Rubino. She's Rubino.
Listen, I go from Antonuccio. I don't know how to do but Kit, so congratulations on her retirement. She will be retiring of March 1st of 2023. And we just had like a little send-off for her last night. I also just want to highlight Read Across America is happening March 2023, and the schools are going to be doing some great programs. Please visit the library website or rosellepark.net. Great things are happening there. There's jazz night tomorrow night. Also karaoke night at House 157 on Thursdays. Mark your calendars for that. I'm going to go there one night. And also, Community Affairs Public Events is happening next week. If you need me, 908-726-8773, and my email, rlyons@rosellepark.net. Thanks.
Thanks, Councilwoman. Councilman Patel.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Good evening. I attended the Residents Social at Meridia supporting Donato Flores in Making Your Own Bouquet event. It was a fun, and I got to network with the residents of Meridia. Recently, no parking zone or / loading zone was installed in front of Meridia 240. Meridia, as Councilman pointed out, to help stop double parking on Westfield Ave, and new lights were added to brighten up the sidewalks by the Meridia. I delivered my first newsletter to every house in the 4th Ward, and I will continue to work on improving communications between resident and the town. Please check my social media for the Linktree website to sign up for a digital newsletter. There's also other resources on my website. Lastly, the newsletter encouraged people to contact me about the street cleaning ordinance, and a couple of comments where some of the comments were, I can't make it to the meeting in person because of various reasons, such as work or kids, and wanted to know if we could set up something like a Zoom call where, like they did during the pandemic, where they could call in and comment on some of the issues that we vote on. As council chair of Rosa Park Commerce, I would like to highlight the new business in town. I attended the house ribbon cutting with fellow members on February 4th, located at 157 East Westville Avenue. House 157 restaurant holds fun events every week, so I recommend residents to give them a try and wish them much success. I will also like to shout out Kwan, who owns small business Lands Music located on Westville Avenue. He's 21-year-old and moved to the States like about 4 years ago and learned English on his own, and he's very good. So please say hello to him before you guys leave. Last council meeting, I asked to prepare a resolution for this meeting to ask Citizen Bank to change its eligibility requirement for next year's small business grant, and I appreciate the council support on this resolution. The resolution 71-23 will give all of our small business a chance to win a $10,000 award. As liaison to the Environment Commission, this is a reminder that residents can request the planting of a shade tree. And for more details about the program, please check out the Environmental Commission social media or call the borough's clerk office during the regular business hours at 908-245-6222. Okay, and I received two concerns from residents of the Fourth Ward. One resident complained about littering surrounding the retention base. I appreciate Paul, the superintendent of DPW, for getting the guys to clean up the same morning. I asked the DPW to maintain the retention basin regularly. Several residents of Amsterdam Avenue reached out to me in regards to a speeding issue on Amsterdam Ave. The same day, the police chief helped install the speeding radar to increase more speeding awareness. I just wanted to take the moment to appreciate the hard work of the police chief, DPW Superintendent Paul, and the Andrew for working quickly to help out the residents. If you need to get in contact with me, please email me at kpatel@rosellepark.net or give me a call at 908-726-8774. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Urbina?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, colleagues, and good evening, Roselle Park. I attended a few events within the last 2 weeks, including, and as my colleagues mentioned, the groundbreaking of Hunter Lofts at the site of the former C&M pools and Hunter Building Supply. On February 3rd, the grand opening of House 157 on February 4th. On February 9th, I attended a Best Management Practices and Innovations in Storm Management workshop. Learned about simple solutions to relieve the strain on our stormwater system and how green infrastructure can mitigate flooding. I'll be sharing tips and resources online within the next coming weeks. Just before this meeting, I attended a special education parent advisory group meeting. We discussed the ESY program. We learned that approximately 30 additional students are classified as students with special needs, which now brings our total student population to approximately between 18 to 20%. So something to keep in mind. Let's see. The North Jersey Transportation Planning Association meeting was held earlier this week. At that meeting, there was a presentation on Middlesex County's Vision Zero plan, which is an action plan to eliminate traffic-related fatality and serious injury crashes. In Union County, there were 13,779 crashes, according to 2020 data, 3,018 injuries, and unfortunately 29 fatalities, up from 23 in 2019. Drivers are more distracted now than ever with technology, and pedestrians and drivers both need to follow traffic laws. On February 3rd, hundreds of people in a small Ohio town were affected after a freight train carrying hazardous materials derailed. 5 cars carrying toxic and carcinogenic material was set ablaze in a controlled burn. While thank goodness no deaths were reported, there is a huge environmental aftermath. It's a reminder that all types of material and millions of dollars of freight roll through our borough's backyards via freight lines. And the rails they ride on and the bridges that carry it are aging. On Fayette Avenue, the rail bridge there was built around 1913. I've asked the business administrator to continue working with Conrail, our construction official, and their engineer to ensure all of our rails, active, inactive, and abandoned, are inspected and that the infrastructures are safe, with hazards and potential risks addressed. And now that Hunter has been demolished, I've also asked to explore an extension of the bike and pedestrian path. Our current greenway is in the eastern part of the borough between Galloping Hill and Chestnut Street. With a new train station coming our way in the next couple of years, it sure would be great to extend that path between Locust and Laurel along Conrail's right-of-way to safely connect the east and west sides of our borough. Speaking of which, save the date, May 20th is our third annual bike safety and helmet giveaway at Morey Park. New for this year, we're looking at a tour to Roselle Park following the event and following the same route as Santa's Parade of Lights, so I'll keep you posted. On Tuesday, February 21st, from 5:30 to 7 p.m., I'll be hosting an informal event for Fifth Ward residents. I'm not typically a knock on your door during dinner or on the weekend during precious moments with the family kind of guy, but if you're a Fifth Ward resident, like tacos, and want to talk, let's talk over taco. I respect your privacy. It's a new year, new and continuing initiatives, new and continuing concerns, and I want to hear you out. So many of you had reached out regarding the street sweeping ordinance, and I appreciate it. I work for you. I represent you, whether you voted for me or not. And I appreciate all comments for and against, but for the record, the majority were against. In the end, it's all about you. It's about working fair, collaborating, and finding the best solutions. So back to the drawing board it is until we find the mutually beneficial solution for safe, green, and clean streets that's fair and equitable. I'm also the chair of Municipal Services in DPW, so I look forward to working with our Councilman at Large, Signorello, and Councilman Petrosky in the near future to discuss this initiative and the new DPW. But I digress. Back to this event. Please feel free to join me on February 21st at Ebenezer's Restaurant located on Westfield Ave between Bridge and Jerome Street. During the spring and summer, I'll be announcing additional outreach events, so I'll keep you posted. But regardless, reach out to me at 862-236-0019. Last but not least, we recently announced an upcoming addition to our family, so my wife and I thank each and every one of you who had reached out to us congratulating us on the upcoming arrival of our baby boy. We appreciate the love and well wishes. And I'd like to thank all who have reached out and continue to reach out. Again, I'm here for you, 862-236-0019, and Jay Rubine at rosellepark.net. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Congratulations, Jay.
Thank you, Councilman. Congratulations. My report. Actually, beforehand, Madam Clerk, please read my appointments into the record.
Appointing Anna Latour of 119 Dalton Street to the Mayor's Health and Wellness Committee to fill the unexpired term of Jamie O'Connell, set to expire May 31st, 2023. Appointing Ursula Kolenkoff of 115 East Lincoln Avenue to the Mayor's Health and Wellness Committee to fill the unexpired term of Megan Pello, set to expire December 31st, 2023.
Thank you. Wait, round of applause for Donna tonight, filling in for Andrew. Good job. Here we go, sweating it out. Just a couple things I wanted to mention tonight. So first off, I'm proud to, what's my role? I'm going to be emceeing it, that story. Maestro of it. Aldi and Tricky Tray, April 15th. Come. We're going to hopefully raise a ton of money. Constance, did I do that right? Okay, good. It should be a lot of fun. And what's up? We'll take donations. And they were telling me how much they usually make for that, so we might consider that as like a additional revenue source for the borough with the Roselle Park wide Tricky Tray. But I'm really excited to do that. Hopefully win some stuff. The two things I also wanted to mention, a bit more tactical. So I think the Finance Committee has their first meeting coming up next week. Thursday. We are facing enormous headwinds from a finance perspective this year. They are, look, some self-inflicted. We add things to our budget year over year. There's salary increases, but this will be the first volume in me advocating for more state aid and more support. I think we've kicked the can down the road long enough when it comes to property taxes, and if the state doesn't act, I think not just Roselle Park, but many towns around this area and across the state are going to be adding to the already relatively egregious property taxes that we pay. So I would encourage you before the deadline's up to apply for the Anchor program, where if you're a renter, you could get I think it's $450 back, and if you own, I think it's $1,000 or $1,500 depending on how much you make. But I would really encourage you to do that, take advantage of it, because look, while I would see that money would be better spent giving us direct aid, trying to support and keep some of the taxes down. Obviously, from Trenton, they think that's the way to go. So take advantage of it. But this is going to be tough. I mean, I think, Ken, without going too much of detail, we're looking at $500,000 in cost increases, and I'm ballparking here of just things that are out of our control, whether it's pensions, whether it's gas, whether it's insurance. And the local finance board tells us that we need to start tightening our belt locally. So I've already shared many services. I'm not sure how many more services I can do, but without letting people go, there's only so much belt tightening we can do, especially given the services that the state requires of us. So, I mean, Ken, keep me honest here. A lot of it's coming down the pike from that.
Yeah, actually, it's more like $1 million, Mayor.
Cool.
So, and we will have some challenges ahead. We're meeting with the committee next week. And we're going to do the best we can, and we are praying for more state aid. That's been promised in the past, but hopefully it will come through this year. And it's not unique to Roselle Park, I will say that. So.
Yeah. It's very frustrating, and I'll just go off on a little bit of a tangent. We've outsourced our emergency medical department. We don't really pay for that out of our borough. We have outsourced our dispatch. The only thing really we keep in-house are finance department, clerk's department, a pretty lean Department of Public Works at this point. Fire department's volunteer, and we have 32 police officers plus 2 parking enforcement officers. The last time somebody tried to cut that, we actually ended up hiring more police officers, which is not something I'm suggesting we do. But realistically, the budgets that we have are pretty set in stone with the salaries that we have in the book. We've even tried to get creative in the past and try to share things like our court, to which we were told we can't do that. So we're really running out of room as to what we can share and where we can save. And I think the state's running out of excuses for things like, our energy receipts tax. We still haven't seen a dime from. We only saw 1 shot in the arm last year. So it's really, really time for, I think, the governor to put a focus on some of the affordability we have and some of the affordability issues that we have here locally, because it's really the rubber's very much going to hit the road this year. And if they're not hearing about it now, they're going to start hearing about it very soon. So
You also have the skyrocketing garbage and recycling costs. So.
Forgot about that. Love how we only get 1 bid every year. That's great.
Yikes.
So anyway, this should be a fun budget season. Strap in for it. That's my report. Mayor Sig at rosellepark.net. And I think I may have a motion to open the public portion on any subject.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody want to come speak on any subject matter? Yes, Jody.
Jody Balomo, 208-10 Chestnut Street. I just have a couple questions. First, I want to say real fast, what's better than a $1 taco at Ebenezer? A free taco with Jay, right?
You checking ideas?
See you there.
I like a win-win.
Do I get a free taco?
Okay, so gotta make this fast, right? So I just want to know, like when I was on, there was talk about 240 and 250 was on a temporary certificate of occupancy.
Yep.
They've been on it for well over a year.
Yep.
At one point, the construction official had stated that they would be getting $1,000 a day fine if they weren't on that TCO. So I'm wondering why they're still on the TCO if they still are on the TCO, what the holdup is with the building, and why they're not being fined, because that's income to, like, 1 year is $365,000.
Not nothing.
Is there plans for the restaurant to be moved, if that's what the holdup is, to this new property? And why are we doing them favors?
So
You know, like, and I
Is there
don't
any-
mean that disrespectfully. I just want to know, like, what's going on? How long can they be on this TCO?
So I don't know if they're still on a TCO or if they have the full CO. Do you have any other questions, or can I respond? Do you want to get that out of the way if you have something else?
Restaurant, hold up on the building, $1,000 a day fine.
You're a great mayor.
Oh. Congratulations on your Senate run.
That was no
And,
comment. Anything speculation?
Can I give you a tip?
Yeah.
Don't roll your eyes when people are talking. Sit back and look attentive, and you'll get in.
To the Senate? Wow, is that easy? Wow, all right. Okay, so I don't know if they're still on a TCO. I could ask Rich. He's not here tonight. The other thing I was going to say is, so they still want to put a restaurant there. And again, this is all third party, right? Like, I don't have these direct negotiation with them. They are renting, or they are advertising it. I think they want to maybe move the liquor license from there to the new site, but that's only been.
What does that have to do with the TCO?
I have no idea.
I mean, bottom line is we're losing revenue. You're talking about property taxes going up. Like, their fines, like could go towards, whatever it is.
It's a little more complicated than that, but yeah.
Like we're sitting back and it's like we're worried about parking, like stupid little things in this town. Like, we're worried about parking, changing the times for this and that, but we have more things that need follow through on. You know, like why they've been open for like a year and a half. They've been open for at least a year and a half.
So I think the one thing though is and Rich can correct me. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight. But I think as per the redevelopment agreement, they're only beholden to, again, right? This predates me, and I'm not even 100% sure if what I'm saying is right. I need Rich here. I think they're beholden to building that commercial space.
Okay.
I don't know per the agreement if they're beholden to actually opening a restaurant there, right? So that could be the issue that they're getting.
I mean, I have issues with it only because, I had realized that a regular resident can't live in their house with a TCO, okay? But we have 1,000 people living in those two buildings, or the one building, say 500 people,
Sure.
on a TCO.
Yep.
So why is it right for them, but it's not for us? Like, I've lived in this town forever, not literally, but I've lived in this town forever. So why is it right that we're allowing them to live on a TCO, and we're bending the rules, we're flexible on those, on the contract, okay?
Yep.
Because it's a breach of contract.
Yep.
And if you were coming at Jody the barber,
I would never come at Jody the barber unless you did something really illegal. But I get it. Let me follow up with Rich. I'll just email you. I'll email Rich tomorrow.
Right.
Yep. Anybody else? My hair, it would look better at the beginning of the night. I start playing with it. It's a nervous twitch.
Joe DiOrio, 824 Large Street. What the councilwoman said earlier just reminded me that these discussions have been said before about Meridia filling that space up. But Meridia has, at this location and other locations, filled up their apartments because they gained the revenue and left the commercial spaces empty.
Yep.
We already have ordinances in place, I believe, that deal with empty commercial locations. I'm very concerned, I'm sure you are all, that the location on Chestnut and Westfield Avenue will follow the same. They'll fill all the units up, and those commercial properties, the locations, the rentals will stay vacant. So we got to set the standard now with this 240, 250 location so that they know they can't fool around with the other location on Chestnut and Westfield Avenue.
Yep. Yeah, hard agree. And so the two mechanisms we have there, I think you were on council actually when we did the empty storefront ordinance, right? So I think it's the first year you get a $1,000 fine, then it escalates after that progressively. That gets done yearly, and they'll be subject to that this year.
But Mayor, you have the tools. You have the tools. You have that. You have the agreement.
Yeah, and that's the thing is,
and I know you were really strong about, like in the beginning a year ago. Hey, we got to find them. We're gonna hold them, their feet to the fire. We have to do it because they're going to follow the same route next time around with Westfield and Chestnut.
Agreed, and I think this has been, I don't want to say put to the back burner, but it's something that we just need to close the loop on. I got to be honest with you, I'm just not sure. Per the redevelopment agreement, whether it states they have to put a restaurant in there.
Forget about this restaurant. It has to be filled. Because remember, there's a whole debate about restaurant, not restaurant.
Sure.
And they said it was retail. We said it was restaurant.
But I don't even
it's not
know-
even filled. They don't have anyone looking to occupy that location.
Sure. Yeah. Again.
So put the restaurant issue aside. Fill it.
So hard to agree on all fronts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed. So continue to voice that. I'll reach out.
Send
to
them a notice. Have Rich send them a notice. That'll get them to respond quickly.
Yeah. Agreed. I don't disagree with anything you're saying at all. So.
Mayor,
Sure.
I'd just like to, I want to answer. I do know they're working harder on Sullivan. I know personally there's a Roselle Park resident is working closely to bring one business I know to the Sullivan. So he's a resident of Roselle Park, keep him nameless, with a friend in Clark. They're working on trying to get a business. So he's called me 12 times on it. Progress. Can't answer for 240.
And I hate to interrupt you. Proof is in the pudding. I agree. Noted.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Bottom line is fill it.
Agreed. I don't want empty promises. Agreed. Understood. This isn't me kicking everybody out. It just got cold again. Anybody else want to speak? Is that rolling my eyes? Yeah. Oops. Hopefully the camera wasn't on that. Anybody else? All right. I'm seeing no one. May I have a motion to close the public portion on any subject?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There are no matters for closed session. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great meeting, everybody.
Hey, you guys respond.